Share for CC.
So you had a mountain of material with which to work. All of that archive footage, and it made up the bulk of that film, and it's what made that film so real. When you're going through that, that's really something to have that available to you. It's also a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think we usually are scrabbling around for research material, and here we had huge amounts of material from Greenpeace, who gave us a really free hand with the archive, and also from here, from CBC. Colin Preston, I don't know if he's in the room, but did a new phenomenal job. And Elizabeth Flynn, who is our archive researcher, and many, many more. One of the sort of difficulties with the story, I think, is that I did want to tell a chunk of history because I was as interested in the development of the group as in specific campaigns, and the consequence of that is that you have to simplify in ways that for this audience is really, I'm sitting there cringing and thinking, oh God, we haven't mentioned Irving Stowe in any significant way, or Jim Boland or Ben Metcalfe, who were absolutely formative. I mean, my sort of lens on the film was Bob Hunter, and was really looking at his experience and writing around that, which is why the film doesn't, for example, include Greenpeace's campaign against nuclear testing in Mururoa in the 70s, in the early 70s, because Bob was much less significant in that. But so that's a kind of apology, and I hope that you see it as a kind of partial history of Greenpeace, and certainly not a definitive one.
The people whose lives we saw unfold on the screen, we have a few of them here with us tonight. I understand you want to bring some of them up.
Yeah, let's get them up.
We do want to get some questions from you as well. But I will ask the same question that I asked you at the start of all this. When you watch the film, when you watch that slice of your own history, the history of Greenpeace, what goes through your head when you see it? Does it make you look at things differently?
I can see the progression of human consciousness go from a cultural recognition of humanity, a social recognition of humanity, and then an ecological. And now we're heading into a real bridge where the whole world's going to change. I think Mr. Moore is going to be a little bit surprised at what's going to come down in the next few years. And I think, I see a very beautiful future ahead of us if everyone gets off their butts and does something special for their children and their children's children.
What's the role of instinct in making movements happen?
The role of instinct. Well, you saw something that we did with the I Ching. Yeah, you laughed. We made a lot of important decisions in that book.
What was it that you had said, a ship of fools? Was that the
But one of the things that book does is it gets you out of your intellectual head. One of the things that just floating around the ocean does is get you out of your intellectual head. But if the question is, what's the role of intuition, I think, well, that's part of it. We're in a situation where a lot of emotional decisions get made. Most of our decisions get made at an emotional level, not sort of rational level. It's not like we all sit down and observe all the data and make rational decisions all the time. We're very emotional beings. And I think that we do have to get past our intellectualism, and the instinct is a good way. Art is a good way. Dance, music, throw the I Ching, get spiritual, do crazy things, because we're not going to engineer ourselves out of this. And
sometimes, though, you do have to use your intellect. Especially if you want to keep over 7 billion people alive every day, along with the rest of all the beautiful things on this earth. So just going by instinct isn't always right. And I just want to point out one historical revisionist aspect that wasn't Jerry's fault. When Rex said, and then Pat Moore filed a lawsuit against our San Francisco organization, I was the head of the group at that time, the founding group, Greenpeace Foundation here in Vancouver, but Rex was on the board of that group. And it was actually the board of that group, Greenpeace Foundation, that filed that lawsuit for breach of copyright and trademark. And that's the only reason Greenpeace International exists today, is because we had to stand up to the rebellion by San Francisco, which we had created, and our lawyer who had volunteered to help us protect our name in the United States. Our lawyer who tried to protect our name in the United States tried to break away from us, take the group away, and all of our doings and leave us with the debt. And Greenpeace would have become a generic word if we'd allowed that to happen. So thankfully that lawsuit was settled out of court between David McTaggart and I, and that's why Greenpeace International exists today, because we didn't just give it away.
There's certainly a lot that we could go through.
I mean, one of the things, it's one of the sort of, I mean, one of the things about making a film like this, I think, is that it's really hard to, I mean, I think you're right, Patrick, about that that's a collective decision, but I think there's yeah, absolutely. I think there's there's competing histories, and I'm sort of hoping that the film kind of swings people between different kind of possible histories of Greenpeace, so that it leaves you enough there to make your own decisions, or to go to the many books, because I guess between you guys you've probably written, I don't know, there must be 10, 12 books about